welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing y'all how to make this lovely crochet blanket. It's a very easy one row repeat. I have mine in Christmas colors because it is December. However, you can make yours in whatever colors you like, and let's begin. For this project, I'm using 4 skeins of Caron Simply Soft in dark sage, 4 in the color burgundy, and 2 in the color white. I have my threading needle here, but sometimes in the video you'll see me use a smaller hook instead of a threading needle. I have a 10mm hook, a pair of scissors, and measuring tape. And this is the yarn left over from the end of my project. From eyeballing and gauging, it looks like you would need about 450 strands each of the burgundy, totaling 900 yards for burgundy, 450 strands each of the sage, totaling 900 yards for the dark sage, and for the white you would need about 200 yards total, which is 100 yards per strand. And this is just if you're using colors outside of the ones I use, so you know exactly what you need to start. So I'll be beginning with 2 skeins of the dark sage, and I start with my yarn and making a slip stitch. So to make a slip stitch, you hold the ends of the yarn below with your thumb and ring finger, index and middle up here, and I start by pressing down on the yarn, pulling toward me, then looping up to grab the top of the yarn and pulling through the loop, tightening that knot, and that is the slip knot on the hook. And from here I'm going to be making 132 chains because the multiple is 14. 14 times 9 is 126, and then we want 6 extra chains from that. So that is why we'll be doing 132. You just yarn over, pull through 132 times. My blanket came to be about 42 inches wide instead of 48, and the standard throw is 48 by 60. So if you prefer your blanket to be wider than mine was, I would suggest you do a starting chain of 160. With the starting chain of 160, you can still follow along with the tutorial. You'll just need a little bit more yarn than I mentioned in the beginning of the video. And now I have my 132 chains. Skip the first 5. So not counting this loop on the hook, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this 6th one, place a double crochet by yarning over, inserting a hook here, and I'm going underneath both loops. As you can see, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. This is operating as 2 double crochet together. Okay, the skip chains and then double crochet, and you skip 2, 1, 2, and in this 3rd space make a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, which would be our V-stitch. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and you skip 2 chains again, 1, 2, and in this space we're going to create 2 V-stitches with 1 chain in between both of them. So that looks like a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. That's the first V-stitch created. Then chain 1 and make another V-stitch with a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, all in that same chain space from below. We just created the top of our ripple by doing that. And make sure that after you finish this, you always stretch out your chain row a bit, because it can be easy to skip over or not realize there's a chain right next to it. Now mess up your count on this row, okay? So after pulling that loop back, I see this is the chain I'm skipping here, 1, 2. And this 3rd one, place a V-stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, skip 2 spaces, and now we're at the bottom of the ridge, which is going to be 2 double crochet together. So after you skip 2, you yarn over and then place a double crochet into that 3rd space. yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and leave the double crochet partially done. Skip 1 chain, and in the next chain make another partial double crochet by yarning over and inserting the hook, yarning over and pulling up a loop, 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2. Now there are 3 loops left on the hook, and then yarn over, pull through all 3, and that is 2 double crochet together across those 2 spaces. And that is our repeat. We're beginning from this V-stitch back here, and we're going to repeat this all over again. So we skip 2 spaces and make our V-stitch. Skip 2 spaces and make a V-stitch with a chain in the middle, and then another V-stitch. That's the chain in the middle. And then now doing the second V-stitch. I'm just making sure to pull this loop right here so that I don't miss that next chain that I'm skipping over. Skip 1, 2 in this 3rd space, make a V-stitch. Making sure to always get under both loops each time I go into my chain row. All right, skip 2. And over these next 3 spaces, we're making our double crochet 2 together for the bottom of the ridge. So I yarn over in that 3rd space, insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through 2. My first partial double crochet, skip 1 chain, in that next space, yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now I have 4 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through 2. And with the 2 partial double crochets there, I yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on my hook. Okay, and you can already see the ridge or the ripple beginning to form. And I'm going to continue this pattern all the way down, and I'll see you when I get to the end of this row. I'm at the end of the round. I just finished the top of the ripple. So from here, always make sure to pull this loop. Do not skip that chain. Skip 2. In this 3rd chain, place the V-stitch. Skip 2 spaces. In this 3rd space, make a partial double crochet. Leave the 2 loops on the hook, and then skip 1 space, 1 chain, and in that last chain, yarn over, make another partial double crochet, and pull through all 3 loops to finish off the round. And to begin round 2, we're going to chain 3 and turn our work. And we're placing our double crochet into the V-stitch here from the previous round. And in this first V-stitch here, we're going to make another V-stitch. And in the chain 1 space here from the previous round that's in between the 2 V-stitches is where we're going to make our next top of the ripple by doing a V-stitch, chain 1, and another V-stitch. in this V-stitch here, we're going to place another V-stitch. And this is where we are right now. And we are going to always skip over the last 2 double crochet together. And as we make our next 2 double crochet together here, we're going to be placing them into both of these V-stitches. This one over here and this one here. Always skipping over this. Okay, so yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, skip over the 2 double crochet together here, and in the next V-stitch, yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, have 4 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Okay, and in this next V-stitch, well, that's the repeat, so I'm going to show you it again. Okay, in the next V-stitch here, we're going to make a V-stitch, in the middle chain 1 space, we're going to make a V-stitch, chain 1, and another V-stitch. Make a V-stitch into the chain 1 space of the last V-stitch. And then in the next V-stitch space here, make a partial double crochet. Skip the double crochet 2 together from the previous round. And in the next V-stitch, make another partial double crochet. Pull through all 3 loops. And that is the repeat of this round and every other round. And continue this all the way down, and I'll see you at the end of this round. So I'm at the end of the round. I just placed the top of the ripple here into that middle chain. In this V-stitch, I make my other V-stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And in this V-stitch here, I'm going to place a partial double crochet, leaving 2 loops on my hook. And in the top of the first chain here, I'm going to yarn over and insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, making my second partial double crochet, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And that is the repeat for the entire project. I'm just going to show you the beginning of this again. All right, chain 3, turn to work. Place a double crochet into the first V. And in this next V-stitch space, make a V-stitch. In the middle chain 1 space here, make a V-stitch. Make a V-stitch, chain 1, and another V-stitch in that very same space. Make a V-stitch into the next chain 1 space here. And then in the next V-stitch space, make a partial double crochet. Skip over this here, which is the 2 double crochet together from the previous round. And in the next V-stitch space, make another partial double crochet. Pull through all 3 loops and repeat that all the way down, over and over for the rest of the project. And I'll meet back up with you again at the end of this round to show you how we end again, but it's the same as before. Okay, so I'm at the end of my round 3. I just finished the top of the ripple. In this V space here, I'm making another V-stitch. And then in this V-stitch, I'm going to make a partial double crochet. And in the top of this chain 3 here, placing another partial double crochet. And then pulling through those 3 loops there. And that is the end of round 3. And I'm just going to be continuing this all the way along, and I'll meet back up with you when I do my color change. I'm coming to the end of my round 12, and I want to show you how I change colors at the very end of the row. So in these last stitches, I'm making my 2 double crochet together, starting off as normal. And before I pull through that very last loop, when I have 3 loops remaining on the hook, that's when I drop this green yarn, and I'm going with white next. So I leave a few inches of the white behind and pull through those 3 loops with the white. Just chain up 3, turn the work, and continue on. And I make sure I cut this green, leaving a few inches of that. And I'll be doing 2 rows of the white. And then once I do 2 rows of the white, I'm going to be switching colors just like that with the same concept, again, to red. This is how many rows I did of each color if you want to follow along with me exactly. These 54 rows add up to just over 60 inches before I begin my border. I'm reaching the end of one of my strands of yarn, and I'm making a knot to avoid having so many ends at the end of my project. To do that, I lay both strands straight. I take my top one and I wrap it around the other yarn that's finishing up, and I make a knot. And then I take the old strand of yarn and I do the same thing. I wrap it around the new strand to make a knot. And I tighten both of the knots. And then I close this space up by pulling both of the strands so that the knots lie next to each other. Now that the knots are right next to each other, this is now operating as one strand. So then I could just take my scissors and cut the yarn. I'll do the same thing with my other strand of burgundy when that runs out. And this makes crocheting so much easier because there's much less ends to deal with at the end, which we all love. You can see here the knot is coming up. So to hide it, I just hide it within the stitches that I'm making. So because of where it's at, as I'm making my double crochet, I just hide it within the strands so that you can't see it in the finished product. It's right within that strand, this double crochet here. And I just continue along as normal. And I'll see you all at the end of these rows. I finished crocheting all the rows of my blanket. I did 12 rows of green, 2 rows of white, 12 rows of the burgundy, 2 rows of white, 12 rows of green again, 2 rows of white, and then 12 rows of the burgundy. And for my ends, because I was crocheting with 2 strands, I'm going to be tying these ends up, which I think is much easier. And I don't want to crochet over them because I want to make sure they're secure. So what I'll be doing is I'm taking where my 2 strings were, and you can do this with a threading needle, or me personally, I'm just going to use a smaller hook. And I'm taking one of the 2 strands and I'm pulling it through an adjacent strand. so that the two adjacent loops, so that the two strands will be separated. And yeah, two is fine, okay? I'm pulling it through there. Now the strands are separate from one another, and I just tie them together 4 times. The first one, I don't pull it too tightly because I don't want to mess up the stitch or make the stitch shorter than what it originally was. Knot number 2, knot number 3, knot number 4, and from there I cut. And all of my loose strands are on the same side except for my starting strand, which is here on the opposite side. I'm doing the same thing all the way down. This is just a lot easier to me than weaving in ends. So taking one of the 2 strands, just pulling it through a separate set of the strands and tying it together 4 times, making sure the first knot is not too tight. The washing machine don't mind that noise. All right, tie number 3 is still going, and tie number 4, okay? Cut those 2 strands. I'm doing that all the way down for all of my loose strands. And I'll see you when it's time to do the border. I'm finishing off my final round of burgundy to change to white, which is my border color. As I'm making the last stitch, I leave the final yarn over pull 3 undone, drop the red, grab the 2 white strands, and pull those through to end off that round, leaving a few tails of white behind, like that. From here, I chain 1 with the white yarn. I'm taking those 2 red strands and tying them off just like I did the other ones. I then turn my work to begin my border round. I'm just turning my work, and I'm still along the top edge of the blanket. This is the edge I just finished. I'm going to be making single crochets all the way down. So I will have 127 single crochets. So just showing you real quickly how to make a single crochet. You insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop with 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. Again, insert the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops. In the chain spaces, there will also be a single crochet, and I'm just going directly through the gap there to make the single crochet. So wherever there's a double crochet, make a single crochet, and whenever there is a chain space, make a single crochet over that chain space. And you should have 127 single crochets if you're following along with me. And I didn't forget about the rest of y'all. If y'all are going to be doing 10 ridges or ripples, you're going to need 141 single crochet. If you've done 11, like I was suggesting, then you'll need 155. It always increases in increments of 14. And I'll see you at the end of this round. I'm at the end of the round, and I'm placing my final single crochet here in this last double crochet. Do not place one in a chain 3 because these 2 together count as 1 stitch. So now I'm chaining up 3 to begin crocheting down the side of the blanket. And as a general rule of thumb, since this whole blanket was done in double crochet, each side of the double crochets and chain 3s will need 3 double crochets. So how I'm starting off is I'm placing 1 here into the side, and then 2 directly into that space. Now I have 3, and I'm placing 1 again in this little stitch, you can see this red loop here, making sure that's on the left side of my hook as I insert that 1 double crochet, and I place the next 2 inside the space. And I place 1 in this space here between the loops. 2 directly into the space. I continue this all the way down the blanket, and I'll see you at the bottom edge of the blanket. So I'm finishing up this side of the blanket. I have 4 more double crochet left to do. 1, 2 in the space, right? 2, 3, 1 in the corner space here. Okay, that's number 4. And to make it look like the start of this row, since the initial chain 3 came out the top of a single crochet, what I'm going to do from here is make a chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn the work, and from this chain 3 begin a single crochet in that exact same space. So just insert the hook directly after making that chain 3, yarn over, pull up a loop, and that's the first single crochet of the bottom side of the blanket. So the bottom side is a little different. So after the first single, you skip over this chain space, and in the space where this double crochet is, make your second single crochet. Make 2 single crochets in that gap. I go directly over the loops, not into the chain spaces. In this space here, make the single crochet. In this chain space here, go over those chains twice. Make a single crochet into this space. In this chain space, make 2 single crochets. Place 1 single crochet into the bottom of this V-stitch here. Place 2 single crochets into this chain space. 1 into this stitch. In this space, this chain 1 space, only place 1 single crochet. In this stitch here, stick 1 single crochet there. 2 in the chain space. 1 into this bottom of this V-stitch. 2 in this chain space. 1 here. 2 in this chain space. 1 in this stitch. 2 in the chain space. 1 here. And when you see this 1 chain space, just make 1 single crochet there. 1 in this space. 2 single crochets here in this chain space. 1 in the top of this V-stitch. 2 in this chain space. And then at the top of the ridge, because really the top if you were to flip it upside down, just place 1 single crochet. And this is the pattern all the way down, and you'll have 127 as you follow this all the way down. So at the top of the ridge, it looks like the bottom because we're on the opposite side. You're gonna place 1 single crochet, place 2 in all the chain spaces except for this middle one here. And this one you only place one because there's only one chain there. And you place one single crochet into all of the places where there are stitches coming out. And you'll have 127 as you continue on down. And I'll see you at the end of this row. So I'm at the end of the bottom side of the blanket. I have 125 single crochet so far. Placing my 126th one here. And we started off the blanket with a chain 5. So you're going to skip 2 of these chains. And then in the third chain is where I'm going to be making my single crochet. Now that finishes off this bottom side. I begin by chaining 3. Turn to the side of the blanket. And then place a double crochet into that same space that the single crochet is in. And after that, it's the same as the other side of the blanket where I placed 2 double crochets into the chain space. And I placed 1 double crochet in this gap here between the 2 rows. 2 in the chain spaces. And 1 into the gap between the 2 rows. Go all the way around the chains as you go down. So that'll be easy. And then 1 into the gap. And I'll see you all at the end of this round. I'm coming to the end of the blanket. I'm placing a double crochet into the space here between the second and first row. Two in this chain space. I tightened that a bit too tight, that the 2 strands at the end of the row, but that's fine. And then 1 into the same space that this single crochet is in. And then a double crochet. Make sure to place that last double crochet into the top of the first single crochet of the entire border, and that's the end. And that is the final stitch. Okay, and now from here I'm just chaining 1, pulling the strand up a few inches and cutting that yarn. Oop, pull that through. And that's tight. And this one, I am gonna, oop, I should tighten that a little bit too much. It's okay. This one I am gonna thread in. Hold the threading needle. You can do the same method as before, just move a strand over and tie it, but I don't want the knot to be sticking out. So I'm gonna thread this one in. I'm putting both strands through the loop. I'm just going down this last double crochet. And then once I get to here, along the double crochets I just made, I'm going to go down 3 times down the bottom of these double crochets on the back side. So just going through the bottom of the white strands. And here's a good spot. Thread through 1 time. I'm gonna go back the opposite way, making sure not to go into the loop I just came out of, skipping over that one. All right, threading back through a second time. One final time for good measure. Skipping over the strand I just came out of. cutting the rest of that yarn. And y'all, we are finished now. Thank y'all so much for watching. I only went off camera like a couple times. I really hope y'all got the gist and have been able to make yourself a beautiful crochet blanket for your place or to sell, whatever you do. And enjoy your crocheting.